it feels like Filth, if that makes any sense. Like it's everything that we grew up listening to, plus kind of the stuff that influences, in the past few years. It was just kind of a mesh of all that coming together, and it feels like the South. If that, like the name fits.
It was the most fun to make too. The most fun I've ever had, like recording an album and writing.
Yeah, it was a good time.
What's up, everybody? It's Keefy at GhostCultMag.com. I am super stoked to be joined by Dustin and David from the band Filth. How are you guys doing today?
Doing great. Doing great, man. How are you?
I'm great. Super nice to meet y'all. We say y'all a lot where I'm from. I'm not from the South, but we just say y'all. I think it was probably a hip-hop thing in the 90s. I'm from New York City originally, and I live in California now. So that's part of my vernacular. But I love everything about your new album, Southern Hostility. It is so killer. It's like the perfect combination. It's got like a really cool hardcore band with some hardcore metal, plus the deathcore, plus rap, rhymes and some hip hop flavor. I love everything about this.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man, congrats on this. I think it's going to be, when it drops, I think people are going to really, if they haven't already found out who you are, they're going to know now.
That's awesome.
As we like to say, get acquainted, get familiar, because it's about to go down. But first things first, let's dial it back. The band has been around almost 10 years. So let's hear, this is our first time meeting and introducing you to our fans and our audience. So let's hear about how the band formed and sort of what brought you to the Southern Hostility record today.
Well, me and Dustin were previously in a band called Invoker, which was more of like it was more of a political based, like heavy metalcore style band. And we were on tour riding around one day, and we kind of were just chatting. We're like, man, we just want to start something that's just truly ignorant, and that's kind of how the name come about and everything. And then we went to the studio and just kind of started writing a couple tracks, and one thing led to another. And before we knew it, this band ended up being, our main focus over top of anything else we had been doing.
It was just going to be an internet project, like a side project at first.
Yeah, that didn't last long. We dropped the first single Collapse, and people kind of grabbed a hold of it, and they're like, okay, this is cool. So then we just kind of started venturing forward
with it, and here we are. I don't know, 3 albums later, 5 EPs later, and we're still doing it.
Right on. And you guys have made a name for yourselves, toured a bit, opened for some pretty major bands. I definitely hear like an Acacia Strain influence there in some of this stuff. It's probably impossible for any band in the heavy genre not to be touched by those guys in the last 20 plus years. I know.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a humongous fan, and it's funny. It's a trip to me to see like DL, who had kind of like retired like 10 years ago from Acacia Strain and just produce other bands. Now he's in Bad Wolves as the vocalist. But I know him as a riff guy, right? Like I know him as the Jesus fucking Christ riff guy. And but he's a great singer. Holy shit. Like even if you don't like love, I know people like, I don't know if I like it. The first record was brutally heavy. Well, the new record's pretty great. But yeah, like I think he's fantastic. And he also can sing, like, I don't know if people remember, he also would do the backups to Vincent. So he could sing hard.
Yeah. Well, I seen Bad Wolves a couple months ago in Spartanburg at Ground Zero, and DL, I've seen DL with the Acacia Strain, so seeing him as a front man, I was blown away. Dude was killing it. He's fun to watch.
Right, he's so good live, and I'm really excited for what they do next together. And but yeah, and Ground Zero, by the way, like for people that don't know around the country, Ground Zero, I don't think every tour comes through South Carolina, and North Carolina and South Carolina are so vast as states. They're really underrated big states. I almost moved to NC. I have a lot of friends are transplanted Northeastern folks who come down there, and I've spent many a good time in all your fine cities in North Carolina. I love Raleigh and Wilmington and the area right there. And then I've driven through a hurricane to Charlotte to see bands, to see, some crazy bands. So great scene there. And so, yes, Ground Zero is a place we've covered some shows also, just our collective staff around the country. And it seems like you guys sort of plied your trade for a long time in the underground. And now I feel like this record's going to raise the profile up quite a bit.
Yeah, this record it feels like Filth, if that makes any sense. Like it's everything that we grew up listening to, plus kind of the stuff that influences, in the past few years. It was just kind of a mesh of all that coming together, and it feels like the South, if that, like the name fits.
It was the most fun to make too. The most fun I've ever had, like recording an recording an album and writing one.
Yeah, it was a good time.
It sounds like y'all are having a blast. Like, these songs are fun on repeat listens. You know, I find myself, I was bopping around over here, and love the lyrics. Like, probably my favorite track is Chin Check, just relatable. And get wrecked, man. This is, you know, talk shit, fuck around, find out, talk shit, get shot, as Ice-T would say. You know, not literally, but, you know, figuratively. And, you know, life puts you through a lot of tests, and I totally relate to a lot of this stuff. Is just like I said, it put me in a good mindset for like old school American sort of modern hardcore and deathcore. Like, I hear a lot of really good influences. And yeah, man, lyrics, you got bars, my friend. You drop hard bars, if no one ever told you.
Appreciate it, man.
And I think you guys have a really cool performance video out right now for Martyr, which was one of the first singles, and really cool like a really cool live show. Where was that shot? Was that Ground Zero?
Yep, that was at Ground Zero. Yeah, that's that's more. We're from North Carolina, but Ground Zero has always been kind of a home to us. We're about 45 minutes or so away from there. The owner's always looked out for us. He's always took care of us, and it feels like home. You know, Charlotte's like our second home, but Spartanburg is, you know.
I worked there for a long time.
Yeah, there's that.
So
yeah, nice. Like security dudes.
Yeah.
You're pretty big dudes, so I figured that'd be a natural. Not that you couldn't do the soundboard or work the, you know, other jobs. By the way, like, the venue that I love in down there is in North Carolina is the Long Gone Volume 11. That's how old I am. There's definitely like MySpace pictures of me at Volume 11 with a beer and like a down shirt on or something, or something like that. Yeah, man. That's, it sounds like there's a killer scene there still. A lot of bands come from there. It kind of seems, you know, again, like, I know in the music industry, especially as lizard brain press guys, it's like New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, blah, 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 blah. But, like, there's, you know, fantastic scenes in Houston and North Carolina and Florida, which doesn't, you know, they don't get as many tours, but they have the big festivals. So, you know, obviously at this stage of the game, you know, again, almost 10 years into this band's lifetime and longer than that in music, what are some of your, you know, you have this huge tour coming up, but beside the tour dates and just spreading the word, what are some of your goals as a band for 2024?
Oh man, I mean, for me, it's just to try to reach as many people as possible. Like, you know, we finally have a little buzz, so I want to like try to ride this and get the music in front of as many people as absolutely possible, you know, just so maybe 2025 could be the biggest year the band's ever had. It's just a push and try to like get this album heard.
Right on. I tell people all the time, I've done a bit of music marketing and coaching to bands, and I work for some labels as well as being a journalist for a long time. And I say, like, it's not enough to be good at music. You have to do all the things. And I know that, like, social media and all this other stuff is a chore, right? It's work.
Yeah.
It's stuff you'd rather not be doing when you'd rather be yelling into an electric stick and playing your guitar. But, that's what I call it, yelling into. Anyway, we yell at sticks. Anyway, I don't know who came up with the microphone. Bullet mics were cool, right? You could just hold it like this, but it's not practical. It's not practical for hardcore, I think. Probably feedback a little too much. I'm not a big eat the mic guy. I was always like more of myself. I was not a hardcore vocalist when I was in bands, so I was always like a Rollins, wrap the mic strap around my arm and just the mic cable and just do that. But like, I knew a lot of dudes, you know, they Godzilla the microphone out, and but yeah, man, I feel like you guys have been growing steady, and I think that's the thing I wanted to ask about is like sort of the steady growth is a good strategy. Like, there's no overnight successes anymore. I know it looks like it, but I like your band's arc seems like the right way, the right pace. You know, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree with you on that. I mean, it was a long, slow crawl for a few years there, you know, and it's finally kind of, you know, tipped and went up a little bit more, but it's been a steady grind. Nonstop. We've toured, we put out music. I mean, it's, you know, it's a full-time job doing social media, as you know. So
indeed it is. And of course, with a killer name like Filth and this grimy music, of course you got to have a cool merch game. So like, any fun merch stuff beside the record itself, any fun merch things coming up for the new, you know, to promote the new album?
We got a Kenny Powers shirt from Eastbound and Down.
Yeah. We have a bunch of, we're gonna have a bunch of special merch for tour and stuff. You know, a lot of stuff a lot of things obviously revolving around the album. You know, some chin check shirts and stuff. We've got a really ridiculous shirt that on the back says Jesus Christ is a punk ass bitch. But I mean, it's funny and it gets people's attention. I know it's ridiculous, but it you know, it sells.
I mean, Cradle of Filth had Jesus as a cunt. Why not Jesus is a punk ass bitch? You're definitely going to get some attention back home with that because, you know, we all know having been down south. I was told in public I was too potty mouthed for North Carolina several times and Atlanta too. They were like, "Sir, your language is vulgar." I was like, "What the fuck? Oh, sorry, I can't help it, dude." And but yeah, that sounds amazing. First of all, Kenny Powers, you're fucking out, dude. Like Kenny Powers, the shit.
Yes.
I mean, like, we all need the swagger, especially after the last few years of life and the music business and shit. Like, we need that Kenny Powers, you know, swagger to come into a room, you know, just like, I hear the internal monologue of the narration of the show as soon as you said his name. I was like, oh my God, perfect.
It is, man. It's so funny. And you know, and Eastbound and Down, that was some of that was shot in Shelby, where we're from.
Oh,
so it
shit,
was just
really?
Kind of cool thing. Yeah.
Oh, my God. Katie Mixon, wherever you are, thank your mama. And anyway, Jesus Christ. Yeah, man, what a fun show. Danny's a genius. I was also a fan of the Alien movie he was in. So, yeah, man, when you guys are going back out on the road for quite a long stretch of time, few months, and I think you got the Michigan Metal Fest later in the year also in the summer. So that's really cool. What do you guys do? Like, obviously still doing van tours is hard in any economy, especially right now. And please leave a homie with your van. This is I don't want to ever hear that your stuff got, you know, it happens, but I hope it never happens to you. Get some air tags or something. But what do you need to kind of keep sane on the road? Obviously, you guys have a good friendship as a band, but like, how do you not kill each other after like a few weeks smelling each other in a van?
Oh man. Everybody just needs their own personal space. You know, some days, and you can tell, you wake up, one person's just not vibing with everybody, and you know just to leave him alone. He's going to listen to music and just chill and do his thing. And he may go to the van, you know, during the show and just be away from everybody. Then the next day he's fine. You know, it's just everybody needs that once in a while. Everybody needs a good shower every couple of days because them summer tours in the van get rough. But you know, like I said, it's just personal space. That's the biggest thing. We're all really close. We're all good friends. We all get on each other's nerves. We fight about stupid shit. You know, it's just being in a band. But a good day of personal, your alone time, you're fine.
And then besides, I'm sure, laundry and food, what is your like favorite day off activity as just individually or as a band?
Food.
We are a big eater band. Like, that's a big thing for us. Food, and then if we can score a hotel, if we can find one for the full day that we're off, we'll just be floating in the pool with the weather's warm, washing laundry. I mean, doing nothing. Just relaxing. Right
on. I love to ask this sometimes. Worst and best tour food experience, either fast food, gas station, whatever. If you each have one, I would love to hear it.
What was the wing place we ate at? It was in Indianapolis.
You talking about with the
I can't think.
It was a wing stop.
Yeah, it was a wing. There was a wing stop we ate at in Indianapolis across from the venue. It was absolutely disgusting. I mean, it was, and it instantly made me sick. And I spent the next 3 hours in and out of the bathroom at the venue. And man, it was rough.
It was like the drinking bottle is just like disgusting.
Yeah.
Straw. You get napkins. We're not going to talk about that.
I asked the question, so you know I know what's coming. Some of these are gnarly stories. Depends on who, you know, no matter who you ask, so it's okay. I expected that. I expected the bad to be bad. How about the best? What's the best place you guys ever ate on tour?
We've eaten some awesome places. There's this venue that we played in Canada. It was at the Viking venue.
Oh, Munan's Post.
Yeah, Munan's Post. And it's completely Viking themed, and it's in the middle. It's on top of a mountain. You know, I can't even remember what city it's in, but it's more towards the western side of the country. And the food, the food was all based around like old school Viking style food. It was
elk stew.
Yeah, elk stew. It was fantastic. It was a cool show. It was like a little 125 cap room. There was a bunch of people there. The food was great. The scenery was insane. I mean, it was just it's an experience that I'll never forget. And that was 6 years ago, probably.
Dispensary in walking distance.
Yeah, dispensary walking distance. The beer was all tap. It was great, man.
That's amazing. Yeah, lucky now we have kind of like, better beer and better weed and things that we need to live, are more accessible now that, for tours. I can't imagine the shitty weed and horrible gas station food and truck stops and stuff. But
oh man, those
yeah,
burrito gas stations.
Oh no, yeah. Sometimes you don't have a choice. You got to pick your poison, starve or eat something. But yeah, man. Hopefully, people keep this in mind when they tip and when they buy merch. This actually helps you survive on tour and maybe get you some decent bar food or something. And again, if you get around the country, I know I've never been to Buc-ee's. That's the one place I haven't been, but I did Sheetz a lot. And Wawa up north in the Northeast now is a big thing, is very prevalent. So they don't know what Sheetz is at most places, but I've also never been to Buc-ee's. So your Midwestern people have me pinned on Buc-ee's. Next time I get to like the Midwest, I got to go check that place out. I've been hearing that it's like the Mecca, but Sheetz is the shit. I was always a big fan.
Sheetz, Wawa, definitely good.
Yeah.
This dude is like a kid in a candy store and he go to Buc-ee's.
Yeah, man.
Oh, nice. Oh, you do come out with like the glasses and the pajamas and the hat and the number one finger. That's you? Okay.
Yeah. And I got 13 sandwiches and a giant 80-ounce drink.
That's amazing, man. Keep it up. This record's killer. I'm really enjoying it. I enjoy talking to you guys today. You guys are so much fun. I appreciate you and your fun spirit. It's important to have that youthful, fun energy, hard music for hard times, but also heavy metal guys and hardcore dudes are some of the sweetest people I've ever met in my whole life. So, you keep it up.
The biggest teddy bear in the world. He's the scariest guy on record, but the sweetest guy in the world.
I had a feeling. It's something about the eyes.
Yeah.
Kindness in your eyes. You might be mean with the microphone in the video, but I felt like you would probably be a big teddy bear. It's all good, man. Yeah, man. David and Dustin of Filth, man. Best of luck with Southern Hostility, killer record, and be safe on the road. And we'll see you at one of these shows, hopefully.
Awesome. Thank you so much, brother. Take care.
Thanks for hanging out with Ghost Cult. We'll see you soon.